What if you could take any dense, super complicated research paper and, with a click, turn it into a clear, engaging video presentation? Sounds like science fiction, right? Well, today we're looking at a brand new AI that does exactly that. It's a framework designed to transform academic text into these slick, ready-to-watch explainers. Let's dive in and see how on earth it works.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll talk about the problem, what I'm calling the academic video grind. Then we'll meet the AI solution, PaperTalker, and take a peek inside its digital production crew. After that, we'll see how it actually stacks up against human creators. And finally, we'll explore what this could mean for the future of explainers.
All right, let's start with the problem. Because before any brilliant idea gets shared with the world, there is a ton of hidden work that goes into just making it understandable, especially when it comes to creating a video.
I mean, who hasn't been there, right? You've got this great idea, but turning it into a short, clear, 5-minute presentation can take an unbelievable amount of time and effort. For scientists and researchers, this is a huge bottleneck in sharing their work. You know, the manual process is it's a beast. You have to wrestle dense text into a clean slide design, write and sync up subtitles, record audio for every single slide, and then carefully edit the whole thing together. And all of that just for a video that might only be a few minutes long. It's a massive time sink. So you might be thinking, why not just have an AI do it? Well, it's a seriously tough nut to crack. You see, an AI has to understand a long, dense paper, figure out which text and figures are actually important, and then coordinate all these different outputs, slides, speech, subtitles, and even a little cursor to guide your eye. It's way more complex than just making a short video clip. And that brings us to the solution these researchers came up with, an AI framework they call PaperTalker, which is designed specifically to take on this academic video grind. So what is PaperTalker? Well, the paper defines it as the first multi-agent framework of its kind. Now, what that really means is it's not just one big AI, it's a team of AIs. And it doesn't just process the paper. It also uses the speaker's identity, like a picture of their face and a voice sample, to create a completely personalized presentation. The researchers started by asking a really important question: what even makes a great presentation video? And it's not just about pretty slides. You need concise text, perfectly synced audio and subtitles, a presenter who looks natural and professional, and that little cursor that guides the audience's focus. This is the quality bar that PaperTalker is trying to clear. So how does it actually do all this? The best way to think about PaperTalker is not as a single AI, but more like a coordinated digital production crew, where every member of the crew has a very specific job to do. This crew has 4 specialists. First up, you've got the slide builder, who reads the paper and makes the slides. Next, the subtitle builder steps in and writes the script for those slides. Then the talker builder generates the voice and the talking head video. And finally, the cursor builder adds a pointer that moves perfectly in sync with what's being said. Okay, check this out. One of the trickiest parts for any automated system is getting the slide layout right. On the left, you see a pretty common problem. The figure's way too big, text is getting cut off, it's a mess. But then, look at the right. That's PaperTalker's refined version. Clean, professional, and everything fits perfectly. So how does it pull this off? The secret is this really clever method they developed called Tree Search Visual Choice. Basically, the slide builder AI generates a bunch of different layout options. Then, a second AI, a vision language model, acts like a visual judge. It looks at all the options and picks the one that looks the best. It's like having an automated art director on the team. Of course, all this sounds amazing in theory, but the real question is, how good are the final videos? And this brings us to the evaluation, where the researchers put PaperTalker's output head-to-head with videos made by the actual human authors of the papers. And this is a really fascinating problem, isn't it? You can't just judge it on how pretty it looks. A good academic video isn't about looking good. It's about how well it communicates complex ideas. So how in the world do you actually test for that? The researchers had to invent their own set of metrics. They measured how similar it was to the human version. They had an AI judge pick the better video in a head-to-head competition. They tested how memorable the work was. And, this is the most important part, they created a quiz to see how well the video actually taught the material. And the results from that quiz were, well, they were staggering. When it came to questions about both recalling specific details and high-level understanding, the videos generated by PaperTalker actually scored higher than the videos made by the human authors themselves. Yeah, you heard that right. In fact, when you boil all that data down, it comes to this one pretty shocking number, plus 10%. That's right. The AI-generated videos were 10% more effective at teaching the material than the ones made by the human experts. The AI was a better teacher. Now, why is that? The paper doesn't say for sure, but you have to wonder. Maybe an AI-structured lesson is just more logically pure, or maybe the pacing is more consistent than a human's can be? It's wild to think about. So this all leads us to the final and maybe the most important question. What does this all mean for the future of how we share knowledge? Now, to be fair, human evaluators still said they slightly preferred the videos made by other humans. But look how close PaperTalker gets. It scores a 3.8 out of 5, which is way ahead of other AIs, and it's really closing in on that human score of 4.6. The quality is genuinely getting comparable.
And it gets to this quality with incredible speed. See, a human works slide by slide, one at a time. The AI generates all the slides at the same time, in parallel. And that simple difference means it can crank out a full video more than 6 times faster. It turns hours of painful work into just a few minutes.
Ultimately, the authors say their goal is to support scalable, scholarly communication, which is a fancy way of saying they want to make it way faster, easier, and more effective for researchers to share their incredible work with the rest of the world. And you can see how this technology could be applied to almost anything. Just imagine being able to turn a dense textbook chapter, a complicated legal document, or any complex report into an engaging, easy-to-understand video lesson instantly. So I'll leave you with this final thought. We might be right on the edge of a world where any new idea, any complex discovery can be made accessible and understandable to anyone, anywhere, just with a click of a button. What would that world even look like?